Hey guys, it's YuseiDWheeler here, and we are back with another deck thingamabobber. Well, okay, uh, yesterday I did one for my Thunderstrike deck, though, and today, I haven't done one with my updated Kagero deck, though, which, I know I've done multiple reviews of it, though, but I am constantly changing it around, though, just to see which is which, though, and mainly just to see which one's a little more fun. And so this, and I do have a lot of Kagero decks though, but right now this is my current favorite one because, well, I just feel that it's more consistent for the way that I play though. So let's get into it. This is an updated version of the Legend. So we'll get right into it with the grade 3s. We got 4 copies of Dragonic Overlord The Legend. I'm pretty sure all of you know what he does by now, though. But well, I'll just say because he's like pretty much the main unit of the deck. He helps search the top 5, get a Flame Dragon unit when you ride him as the Vanguard, though. So he's pretty good though. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and his Generation Break 2 skill is basically he gains 1 grade plus 15,000 power, I believe. Yeah, 15,000 power. And if he attacks your rear guard, he gets to stand back up after discarding 3 cards. So he's pretty good though, but he is not as effective against decks that retreat their rear guards before the turn ends though, so that will leave him nothing to attack with. But honestly though, to be fair, I have not had any trouble against decks like Magia or Hollow. Hollow is a little more of an issue though because having them have units in the drop zone does tend to be problematic though, but it can still hold up its own against them pretty well in various ways though. So, and that's why, and I feel that that the searchability for the thing is actually pretty darn valuable. Honestly, this helped me out a lot in a lot of fights I have with me and one of my other close friends too. So that's that. And for the backup grade 3, we have Dragonic Overlord the Great. Now, I don't tend to ride into him a lot, though, but riding into him isn't that bad. It's just that you don't really get that search ability, though, other than the fact when you're about to Legion, though. But I usually don't Legion until I'm actually, getting near the end, though, if my opponent is still alive at the time, though. Just so I can, at least get triggers back into the deck so I can do other drive checks though, but he's basically you Legion with Neoflame though, and after he attacks the rearguard, you Counterblast 1, and you ditch 2 and restand him. And also his other effect though is whenever he lands a hit on anything, which is a rearguard or Vanguard though, you retire one of your units that's the same unit as one of the Vanguard circled. So if you have him Legioned with Neoflame, if you have an extra Neoflame or another copy of the Great on the field, you can retire it and just pop a rearguard on the opponent's field. So yeah, that's also pretty helpful too, and that's also an effect that I think some people tend to forget too. So he can actually be pretty helpful in some situations too if you feel that you need to ride him. So that's it for grade 3s. So now we get on to grade 2s. So I have 4 copies of Dragonic Neoflame, which is the Great's Legion mate. So basically, if you place him on a rearguard circle though, and he gets the ability that if a unit in the same column as this unit gets retired, you can Counterblast 1 and take out the unit that's in the same column as the unit that was retired. So, it's basically meant to take out a full column of units though. Other than that, he just mainly used as a Legion mate though. But also the fact that he's also a Flame Dragon, so he's a viable target to search for with the Legend here. So that can also be pretty helpful too. And he can actually make some pretty good retire power too, so I don't know. Other than that, that's just what he's there for. But I do like to keep him at 4 though. Because, well, aside from that he is a Flame Dragon. Alright, so next we got 3 copies of Dragonic Burnout. which is also another valuable piece for the deck, though, because this guy can save you from decking out. And basically, when he's placed on the rearguard circle, you select Overlord in your drop zone and place it in the bottom of your deck, and then you can retire an opponent's rearguard, though. But the good thing is, though, you don't have to retire a rearguard. Like, say if your opponent has no rearguards, though, and if you still want to get like an Overlord back in the deck, you can do that just by paying the cost. But then you'll have nothing to do after that. But that is still pretty handy to do, because at least gives you the option to send a card back to the bottom of your deck if you so need to. But other than that, he's really good. But I run him on 3 copies because he does require a Soul Blast, though, and this deck can't really retain Soul all that well, but I do have cards that can alleviate that need if need be. So that's I mean, you can run 4, though. I mean, I may consider running 4 copies of Burnout too, because of how helpful he is, though. But right now, with the way I'm messing around with this deck, though, 3 is still good enough, though. But yeah, that card's definitely necessity. Next, I have 3 copies of Emperor Dragonite Nahalem. Mainly because he's not a Flame Dragon, though, so he's not a viable target for the Legend, though. But he is a very helpful card, and he does get the job done. He does help me finish games a lot in a lot of cases too. So this is also a good way to actually apply pressure against decks that are supposedly a bad matchup for it, though. But in the end, it just matters. It's just a matter of how you actually play, though. But he's really good, though, because during your turn, though, if you have an Overlord Vanguard, which that's pretty much going to be always the case, he'll be an 11k attacker, though. But once your grade 4 unit attacks, though, he gains 5,000 powers. So he'll be a 16,000 hitter before boost. But thing is, since Overlord restands itself, though, it just says every time your grade 4 Vanguard attacks. So basically, if you have the Legend or one of your G units attacking, though, that can restand, the power will stack. So, say if you attack with the Ace or you attack with him on his GB2, then he'll be a 21k hitter before damage calculation, before you attack with him, though. So he can set up really good numbers. And that's why I don't run Burning Horn, though, because this Nahalem, in my opinion, kind of makes Burning Horn pretty useless, though. I mean, the only reason why I see why people still want to run Burning Horn is because he's a Flame Dragon, though. That's it. But other than that, it's just a 12k hitter, though. And my last 2 grade 2 units are Berserk Lord Dragon. I still find this guy pretty useful in this deck, though, because since this deck consistently strides most of the time, though, then I can find myself hitting those rear guards, though, that against decks, though, that decks that really rely on their rear guard support but can't find a way to protect them that often. So he's a good way to clear the field, though. He does use the counterblast, though, but I do have quite a bit of cards that can actually help alleviate those counterblast needs, so that's another thing. So now that's it for grade 2s. Now we go into grade 1s. I have 4 copies of Protect Orb Dragon, same as usual. Perfect Guard, and then once you guard with him, and then you have another copy in the drop zone, countercharge 1, so really necessary for this deck. Not much else needs to be said. So next I run 4 copies of Lizard General Conroe. Yeah, but after trying them out I think last time I made a video on this, though, I had him at 3, but 4 has been working better for me lately, though, and not only that, though, because it helps me search out my Overlord pieces, though, and it helps with the countercharging issues with the deck, which is a very valuable asset to the deck. So, yeah, so basically, a lot of times if I don't want to ride into the grate, I can just call him out, though, and then just search my deck for another copy of the Legend, though, and then just ditch anything else after that needs to be put in the drop zone. So he's really handy, though, and I don't know. Not much else can be said about that either. Just the countercharging and the searching makes them very valuable in the deck. Next, I bumped the Lava Flow down to 3 because the deck has no problem striding though, because I'll most likely either have a grade 3 in hand though, or possibly one of these though. So other than that, then yeah, then I don't run Blade Master in the deck, so this is all he is just for striding and stuff too. So that's that. And also he's a Flame Dragon too, not to mention, so I can also search him out. And so is Protect Orb too. It's also a Flame Dragon Sentinel, which is very helpful because Legend loves those Flame Dragon targets. And lastly, I've been trying out 2 copies of Lizard Soldier Bilog. And he's been pretty helpful though. He's pretty trolly, really. Like against like a lot of decks though, like I've been testing out against my Aqua Force deck though, or my Gear Chronicle deck. This guy can kind of trip him up though. Although this hurts Aqua Force more than Gear Chronicle, since the like cards like Melum and like Upstream though can't really be stopped by this guy because, well, of course, because of the turn player priority and all that stuff though. But this guy is still pretty trolly. Although I may bump him down to 1 though, because he's helpful though. He can be pretty helpful though, but other than that though, the thing about him is that he only does the retiring against units that are already at rest, and it has to successfully guard the opponent though. So you have to pretty much more often than not, you're gonna have to like toss down like another card with it though in order for the effect to go off. So who knows? I'll keep messing around with him at 2 though. But if I feel that I need to like take out 1 and probably just bump Lava Flow back up to 4, I'll probably do that instead. And he's also not a Flame Dragon too, so can't really search him out. But I still like using him though. As of right now, I still like using him. He's still working out pretty well for the deck though too. So that's all there is to it. All right. So next up, we got my starter, which is Lizard Hero Undo. I don't know. I feel that he's still one of the more helpful cards in the deck though, because I mean, the thing about Red Pulse though is that you can use Red Pulse a lot quicker than this guy though, but it's more of a random chance though, and there's like a lot of situations where sometimes you don't hit that grade 3. So and the thing is, for this deck though, you want to have the guaranteed search though. I mean, even if it is a generation break. So it's basically because you counterblast 1, search, move it into Soul, and then search your deck for an Overlord grade 3, which is pretty much the whole grade 3 lineup of this deck. And this card is a 5k booster though, so which also makes it like, which also helps hit a lot better than Red Pulse does too. So that's that. Other than that, that's it though. And because I don't know, just for me, I prefer the guaranteed search over the random search though. That's just me. Okay then. Next up, I have 4 copies of for the trigger lineup. I have 4 copies of Dragonite Janet, whichever you say. Mainly because I am running the Blade Master Titan in my G zone, because this also helps me. It helps draw and also helps fill the soul whenever I need to, because this one just says that whenever your Vanguard with Blade Master in its name attacks, then you move it to the soul. So basically, this can still work if you stride over with Blade Master though. And this also helps me draw. This also helps me fill the soul for like cards like Burnout and stuff. So other than that, that's that. And then I got 4 Blu-ray Draco Kids. No real reason other than he's a Flame Dragon, though. That's it. So I got a total of 8 criticals. And I got 4 draws. Right here. 4 draws. I'm using the Seal Dragon one because you can use Gatling Claw if you want, though. Which, honestly, I don't think it'll make too much of a difference. Just which one you like better. But just for me in this case, though, I chose this guy because it also not only does it help like give one of your units a 3,000 power boost, but It also helps fill the soul faster, and it doesn't cost a counterblast though. So for me, I think it fills the soul faster than Gatling Claw does though. And another reason though is that for a lot of decks nowadays though, there's a lot of decks that don't really mind having their starters take the hit. Or other than that, it just won't really help them it won't really like slow them down at all though. So that's why instead I just pick the one that gives you the power boost. So that's that. And it also helps fill the soul too, so that's another thing too. Which I've probably already said like 2 or 3 times already. Then of course 4 heals though. I'm running this though because even though he's not a flame dragon though, I just like the foil printing though, and like I said before, I actually had no trouble. I can't really speak right now though again. But I've had like no trouble hitting those flame dragon targets for Legend every time I ride into it though, because well, still majority of the deck is flame dragons though, and the thing about the Legend is it doesn't really specify which grade you can search for, so you can search for any flame dragon. So that kind of alleviates a lot of the problems though. So just kind of, and the thing I like about this deck, it gives you the freedom to kind of decide which kind of lineups you want to choose though. So I don't know, but that's me though. I don't know how many of you probably might want to be running the Flame Dragon heals though, but it's really up to you, honestly. So G Zone, I got 4 copies of Dragonic Overlord the Ace. Now, because I've always been testing it out though, and the 4 copies really do help though. Sometimes well, he's normally a finisher though, but this is just in case though that I need to actually just finish the job if I feel I don't need to rely on like Nouvelle Vague and stuff, or Nouvelle Vague. And the restand ability really does help against like decks that don't really have any rear guards for you to attack with, like the Generation Break 2 and stuff too. I mean, if you want, you can probably hit this guy down to 2 though. If you want though, but for me, 4's been working out really good so far. And there were situations where I have used like all 4 of them up though. So because all you do, well, for those of you who probably don't know, I'm pretty sure all of you do know though, but it's just that you counterblast 2, flip over another copy though, and he loses 1 drive, but he gains the ability to restand after attacking an opponent's Vanguard by discarding an Overlord and another card though. So that's that. I like him at 4 though. He's been helping me out lately. Next, I've been running 4 copies of Nouvelle Vague Express. So this is another finisher of the deck though, which has actually been very valuable though. I mean, even with G Guardians though, the fact of the matter is though that his continuous ability for nullifying those triggers if your opponents have 5 damage or more is considerably helpful, because this doesn't only apply to his attack. This effect applies throughout the whole turn. So if your opponent somehow guards that but doesn't have enough to guard your other rearguard attacks though, then you essentially win the game, because they can't heal their way out of it though. And also the fact that he can seal off grade 1 guards though from the hand though is also still really helpful though. I mean, the only thing that can probably save your opponent is in fact the G Guardians though, but sometimes though it's a good way to bait that out too. But that still limits their options of guarding though. I mean, otherwise if they don't have the means to G guard though, then that means well, they're gonna have to either drop a lot or just have to take the attack, which still works out pretty fine, honestly. So next up, I have 3 copies of Blademaster Titan. It's basically you counterblast 1. It's a Generation Break 2. You flip over another G card from your G zone face up, and for every copy of Titan you have in the G zone face up, though, you get to retire that many units. Honestly, this guy also is really awesome though, because also he has the Blaze effect though. So basically, if you have more cards, like if you have more rearguards in your opponent, though, then your Vanguard becomes blazing, and if he's blazing, he gets the 1 crit, so that can be really helpful, though, and this is a good way to also clear out the field, too, so other than that, if you want, you can probably run this guy at 4, too, because this guy is also actually really good. I may change around my G-Zone lineup, too, just to probably put 4 of them in there, too, but for now, this is working out great. And, of course, my last G unit is Vortex Desire. Now, I'm not running Mustafa mainly because he's a counterblast Costo, and honestly, I don't think I really need him all that often, though. I just mainly use this guy just to flip over a copy of whatever, like flip over a Titan, though, just so I can make good use of Titan's like multiple retire ability faster. And basically, if this guy hits, though, you get to retire a rearguard for every Flame Dragon on your Vanguard circles. So basically, since my grade 3 lineup is all Flame Dragons, which is Overlord, it's auto-retire 2, pretty much. But if you are in Legion, you get to take out 3, because the Legion mate's a Flame Dragon as well. But he's usually the first one, and mainly he's just used to speed up the Overlord's Generation Break 2 skill, so that's another thing, too. And for G Guardians, I run 1 copy of a Defeat Flare Dragon. Yeah, I think a 1 is just a good enough number, though, because mainly this is only good against decks, though, that really like to fill up the field, though, and try to power up with all their boosts and stuff, though, and just to eliminate their back row. He's really good, though, but the only thing that's keeping him back is the shield power. He doesn't gain any shield power, he's just a 15k shield, and you're going to have to use guard with something else, though, but he's still a good card, though. I mean, for this deck, though, it's, I feel that, you just need him, though. Just him at 1, that's it. I had him at 2 before, though, which was fun for a while, though, but then I also needed some other cards that can help me, like, protect stuff with shield, though. And then I run 2 copies of Denial Griffin, which is pretty much your best G Guardian in the deck, because this also helps against, like, decks, though, that, like, swarm the field, though, and then try to attack with high numbers, and this one just says, yeah, that's pretty nice of you to power yourself up, but here, I'm just going to have to get rid of you, so, because it'll just take out the opponent's rear guard without question. Unless that unit has resist, and well, oh well. And my last one is a Sile Orb Dragon from the Fighters Collection, though, because, well, it does need a good... this does really need a good shielding card, too, and this is basically... when this card is placed in Guardian Circle, this card will gain 5,000 if your opponent has at least 1 empty rearguard circle. So... and then he'll be a 20k guard, so. So that's about it for this deck, though. Honestly, this deck has still been working well for me for this whole time, though, and this is still one of my favorite decks to use so far. And this is my favorite Overlord variant out of the 3 Overlord decks that I currently have. I still have the Cross, though, but I just felt that this deck just suits me better. And it works better. I think it works a little faster than the Cross, in my opinion, though. Because out of like all that's out right now, it's easier to kind of like wall the Cross, though. I mean, I still love the Cross because I know that I still think the deck's really good. I just think it's easier to like to wall that deck, though, and to get ahead of it in terms of advantage. But it's still a good deck, though. But it just, for me, I think I like this deck better. It just works better. It just works better for me. So, in any case, though, that'll be it, though. I may put up another video, like, before the week ends, though, and before the year ends, though. But we'll see what's to come, though. Anyway, I think I've been rambling on enough, though, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time, alright? Take care.